Hello and welcome to another episode of
The After Church Show.
My name is Nanama and I'm your host. So from our previous discussions, we've spoken about balancing our dating relationships with work, balancing our relationships with schooling, and also how to move on after a breakup while dating someone in the church. Our topic today is God's will and purpose for relationships. To join our discussion, we have Reverend Naughty, and he's going to throw more light on our discussion today. So, Reverend, my first question to you today is, what's the difference between God's will and God's purpose?
I think the two words sometimes are used as a synonym, so they are used interchangeably. But when you're talking about purpose, then you're talking about, in terms of our individual selves, then you are looking at the main reason why we were created, or the main reason why something has been made, or the goal for which something has been designed or created or made. And when you are talking about will, that is God's will, that is how God wants something to be done, or the way God wants something to go.
Okay.
So God's will for my life, God's purpose for my life may be for me to be used as an instrument of grace for blessing people.
Okay.
As a pastor. His will for my life is that I should live according to the dictates of the scriptures. His will for my life will deal with the nitty-gritties of every aspect of my life, what he wants me to do at any point in time. But ultimately, I'm supposed to live to serve a particular purpose. At the end of the day, I should be able to say that I have been able to achieve my goal in life. And that is what we call the purpose. The will of God are the ways that he has put in place for you to maybe accomplish that purpose. However, purpose and will sometimes, depending on the context, can be used interchangeably.
Wow. That's interesting. Okay, Amma.
Please, I have a question based on what Reverend said.
Yes, please.
So, can you say that God's will for your life can change based on maybe different circumstances you go through? Can God's will for your life change?
No. You see, God's will for your life actually has to do with the character of God.
Okay.
The character of God is such that he does not change. But he has his ways of doing things and the ways that he expects us to do things. For example, it is God's will for all of us to live righteously. Now, when it comes to our individual lives, the sort of things that we go through to achieve our purposes will be different.
Okay.
For example, in order for Joseph to become what he will become, it is God's will that Joseph should be sold. It was God's will that Joseph should be let's say, blackmailed. He was accused falsely, and yet there was evidence against him. It was God's will that the evidence will force him to be sent to prison. It was God's will that in becoming a prime minister, I was going to go through all these processes to be a prime minister. That was God's will. Now, that is how God's will can differ, because for Daniel, he was doing God's will, which was to pray. And yet, in that will, he was put into the lion's den. And so God's will for our lives may vary at a certain point in time, but there are generic things that for us being children of God, we know he expects all of us to do.
Wow.
So his will, which flows from his character for us, does not change. In other words, it doesn't change from good to bad.
Okay.
But depending on the purpose he has given you and the means by which he intends to fulfill that purpose, the things he puts you through according to his own design will differ from someone else.
Okay, so Reverend, in relating what you have said to relationships, be it brotherly or sibling kind of relationship, or maybe dating. How would you explain this, that the dating that maybe we experience or we encounter or we involve ourselves in or indulge in are a reflection of the true purpose or will of God?
Okay, so let me now define the purpose and then will in terms of God's, in terms of relationships. And since you mentioned dating, let me bring it into that context. Because when you are dating someone, usually the idea is that you want to settle with the person. Now, if you are going to settle with somebody, you should know your purpose in life. What has God created you to be? So if I know that the Lord has called me as a servant to serve in the church, to be a pastor, for example, then I should know what his will is regarding being a pastor. Are you with me?
Yes.
And then I should know how I'm supposed to live. And then that should inform who I should choose or who I end up choosing for a wife. Because he created a woman to be a helpmate for the man. So it should be someone who has what it takes to help me drive towards my purpose in life. And so my purpose should define and inform the type of person I even choose to date in the first place. And if in the course of dating, I realize that the person has not gotten what it takes for us to fulfill the purpose that I have been given and the purpose the person has also been given, it is very much all right to end the relationship. And that is why I have a problem with some of the discussions that have gone on before on the After Church show, because sometimes we talk as if when you start dating someone, it must necessarily end in marriage. That is problematic. The essence of entering into a relationship or friendship is to know the person, is to discover the person. And if you go into it and you think that, oh, this person is my friend, but he hasn't got what it takes for us to settle together, you remain friends. You don't become enemies because you are not suitable for marriage. Are you with me? Yes, the fact that you are not suitable for marriage does not mean that you become enemies. Because you become friends when you are dating or courting. And you discover, listen, this thing, and that thing, or this your aspiration, that my aspiration, or this one, we can't have a confluence. And because of that, we cannot make a happy home. So let's remain friends. And that is the wise thing to do. And so sometimes the sort of things you even do when you are dating or courting is the reason you end up having broken heart in the first place.
Again.
Because you see, the thing it should be defined. We are friends, and we are looking forward to maybe living together. But we are studying ourselves. We want to know. So you are asking, what is your purpose? What do you want to do? What are you looking forward to? What are your aspirations? What are the things that satisfy you? What are the things are with me? There are some people who never want to marry a pastor because of the kind of life they want to live. Yeah. Are you with me? Sure. Yes. And I will never go and marry somebody who will dress and wear dresses that expose the cleavages, who always wear short and hot pants and other things.
Powerful.
Are you with me? And that's what the person is used to. Yeah. And you don't want to go and marry someone like that. Yeah. Somebody who cannot welcome people, who is not hospitable. Yeah. I want to marry someone like that. So if maybe for one thing or the other we have come together as friends and we are studying each other, and I realize that, listen, you just cannot do this thing because it is not in you. Why should I continue with the person? And we should have lived our lives within such boundaries that we can remain friends, but then the idea of getting married, being aboard, should not be considered as broken heart, because we shouldn't have done things that would make it look like broken heart, because we still remain friends.
Wow. This is very interesting.
So in a situation whereby, for example, reverend ministers, or like if you have a calling to save the house of God, and it's very clear. But for example, someone's purpose is to be a banker and then help others. some of the purpose is not very
Spiritual.
direct.
Oh, it is very direct. You are a banker. If you're a banker, you are going to be dealing with people. You just cannot get married to somebody who is jealous. Somebody who sees you standing with another person and feels that, then you are in a relationship with the person. Then you are in love with the person. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Like a customer texts you and say, "Oh, thank you for the services. I love you so much." Are you with me? So people are very straightforward with words, not because the words contain any it doesn't mean anything. Then your wife sees it or your husband sees it and goes, "Ah, I said it." What kind of relationship do you have with the person? How can he say he loves you? I love you to the moon and back. I mean, who says that to some ordinary person and all that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And definitely, you are into customer service.
Yeah.
And trust me, there are some people that you will serve and they will love you.
Yeah.
They will love you not because they want to be in a relationship with you, but people who are good are hard to find. And so people will love you, they will treat you, give you money. How can a person give you this money if you've not done anything for him? And all you got. So you see, no matter what work you want to do, no matter what area of calling you have, are with me? You need to understand the sort of person that can help you to fulfill that purpose. You have to also know that it is an interdependent thing. So it's not just about you, it's also about the person.
Okay.
Do you also have what it takes to help the person in the person's area of calling and purpose? All these things must be considered before you go and settle with someone. Otherwise, let me tell you, after serving in ministry for the number of years that I have done, trust me, one of the biggest mistakes is to marry the wrong person. Is to marry the wrong person. When you go and make vows to the wrong person that you will live with that person forever. The Bible says that it is, for example, it's better for a man to live on a rooftop than to be with a nagging wife. So now I say, as for nagging there, the Bible has categorized it and boxed it, puts it somewhere that no matter what it is, no matter what your purpose is, don't marry somebody who nags. No matter what your purpose is, because once the person nags, living on a rooftop is better for you. Simple.
Okay.
So, Reverend, is God really interested in who we date? So, from the context that we've picked, that not all the dating relationships are going to end in marriage. So, is he really interested in who you date?
God is interested in every aspect of our lives.
Okay.
And so he's interested in who you date. So God doesn't want you to go and date some upon some. That's why he says, first of all, in your relationships, do not be equally yoked with unbelievers. That is being set as a clear standard. I would need to begin with to tell you that God is interested in the sort of people you build relationships with. Why? Because it's also said that bad company corrupts good character. So that is also being said. Are you with me? Yes. It says also that he who walks with the wise shall himself be wise. Are you with me? Yes. So in all these things, they speak about relationships and the standards that we are supposed to set for ourselves and what we are supposed to look at to guard and guide ourselves when it comes to our choice of people that we want to sort of relate with intimately or closely. So God is interested in it. Yes. To answer your question.
I have a question.
Yes.
So there's always a choosing, right? You have to choose someone.
Yes, there's a choosing. I don't think that you should let your friends choose you. I think you should choose your friends.
Reverend, sometimes you can get a prophecy.
That that is the person you are going to marry.
Yeah, they can give you names or no.
Madam, forget it. You see, listen. God deals with us individually.
Okay.
The Bible is replete with examples of prophets who told people things that led to their death. Yes. So the fact that a prophet has said something does not mean you should take it hook, line, and sinker. Okay. Sitting here, there are prophets who have said things to me, and when they were saying it, I knew they were lying. Yes. I've had prophets who have apologized to me after prophesying, because after prophesying, they got to know who I am, and they are like, and then they apologize. I had a prophet who prophesied to me. After prophesying to me, I prophesied to him. I prophesied to him, and then he started apologizing for the prophecy he gave. So, you see, you are a child of God. You're supposed to have a direct relationship with Him to know what His will and purpose is for your life. Let us nurse our relationship with God. Let's deepen our intimacy with Him and let Him speak directly to us. So even when a pastor or prophet says something to you, you must find out whether it is God's will for your life. Apostle Paul commended the Bereans because after he had taught, they went and sat down to search whether the things he said were so. Are you with me? And he recommends that to all of us. We must all do that. Just like the prophet says that I'm going to marry someone like this. Just not too long ago, someone told me a story. No, maybe about just last week. Someone told me a story about a man of God who prophesied to someone and said, "You will marry a man of God." And the person was between two relationships at the time. Like two guys were on her board. They were in her plate. Yeah. And one of them looked like Ojashios. The other one, it was normal. It was normal. So because he heard that prophecy, he shunned the other one and then got married to this one. Eventually, he realized that even at that time, he was more in love with the other one who was not that Ojashios. And then things were happening. The relationship was not going well. So he went to the man of God and said, "Because of your prophecy, I married this one." And the man of God said, "No. If I told you marry a man of God, it doesn't mean that at the time you are going to get married, the person will be a man of God. It could be that after you have gotten married, the person will come. Yes, the person will be called into ministry. So you don't just go ahead and then shun whoever you are in love with if the Lord has laid that person on your heart." Eventually, this guy who looks Ojashios is it's not spiritual at all. It is fake Oja, fake Oja. And so she was having problems. And she realized that this one who doesn't look Ojashios is more godly. It's more godly, more respectful, more honorable. He would rather say they should pray in the privacy of their dating lives. He would say we should pray. And they would discuss scriptures. This Ojashios one would say we should have sex.
So Reverend, listening to you in the context of we are talking about relationships. Now we hear stories just like one that you gave. I mean, aside the prophecies that come to people concerning relationships, we hear stories of divorces, broken hearts all over. Looking at it in the context of the university, because now the students are coming, they're exposed to a lot of things, and then they are dating relationships, people get hurt, they carry that hurt on in their lives and everything. So is it necessary to seek God's face when it comes to choosing a partner, looking, or like who even you want to date or hang out with?
About more than 80% of relationships on campus don't lead to marriage.
Whoa.
People just bruise their hearts because they themselves are immature, and then the people they are dating are immature, and yet they assume that they are mature. So they don't want anybody to talk to them even about the things they are doing. I'm of age, I'm of age, I'm of age. And foolishness clouds their mind and their choices, and then they start themselves.
Yeah.
That's what is happening on a lot of campuses. You see, because once you look at your own life and the trajectory of your life, and look at the economic situation in which you are living and the cultural context within which you are living. You've gone to the university, you are 21. You get out of the university, you'll do national service. You'll be looking for a job to do. You are dating someone that you are in the same year group with, or you're doing the same course. When you come out of the university, the person is now going to work, are you with me, and do all these things. The person you are dating is kissing you, sleeping with you, and doing all kinds of things. Are you with me?
That's the truth.
And so at the end of the day, you've come vulnerable to the person. The person doesn't even see your worth. Yeah. The person now moves on to sleep with another person, and then you are complaining. And you want to let the person know that you are righteous, you are holy, you are a person of dignity. When you You are sleeping with the person. When you are sleeping with the person, you've compromised your values. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes.
Compromise your values. So you can't go and pose before a person and say you are holy than thou. I mean, so you see, what we need to do at these levels is to learn.
Okay.
Read a lot about life. Read a lot about relationships. Read a lot about marriages. Read, learn. Don't step into something and discover by experience when you can learn from other people's experiences so you can avoid the problems that they actually went through. A lot of us are not learning. And so we are not becoming wiser in the choices we make and the things that we do. So we go and then we invite problems onto ourselves. And then we blame the devil. I remember when I was on campus, I was taking people to her because of the way I was. And then whenever there was a problem, they would call me and all that. And most of them were ladies. There was only one guy who had a mental issue when I was on campus. About 16 others, they were all ladies. Broken heart.
Wow.
Broken heart. One of them, this guy had slept with her. She's committed abortions and all that. And the guy has given her a car that she's been driving on campus. So she thought that she was on top of everybody. One day she was driving the car and then somebody stopped her and said, "Who gave the car to you?" Or say, are you hey, sorry, are you the mother? Hey, give me my car key. Give me my car key. It became that is the wife of the woman. That's the wife of the man.
The man is married.
The man is married.
Oh, my boy.
He's married. He's come onto campus to come and do a course.
Oh.
Campus don't want to hear sponsor no.
Oh.
And he hear man a car. No, so they have a fat girl. They have a girl. And the girl so the girl felt that she was on top of everybody on campus. Oh, Nina, no, I share in Niama. Niama, I show Mushi. A G card. A G card.
Wow. So
it was bad. Hey, it was bad, eh?
So they should get Bucky hat.
You said broken heart. Or Yini Niama, she undressed immediately.
Herself.
At the end of the team.
Oh, this one there.
Hey. So these things you see, so like be wise. Be wise. You are on campus. What did you go there for?
Study.
I mean, what did you go there to do? And if you went to marry and you went there to learn and you found someone you become friends, be measured in the way you run the relationship. Are you with me? Nobody is saying you shouldn't make friends. Nobody is saying that no, but be measured in the way you run the relationship. How you order yourselves about is very important. Because if you do the wrong thing, you pay for it.
wow. So Reverend, please, what are some of the remedies, that you would recommend, for young guys or upcoming youth to be able to determine the purpose, God has for their relationships and how they will go about choosing friends, because we don't want to limit it to the context of dating, like an opposite sex, but maybe in every aspect of your life.
First of all, like I said, the first thing is you yourself must know your purpose.
Yeah.
Because your network of relationships must be purpose driven. And it is called social capital. Yeah. And so what it means is that why are you my friends? What am I putting on your table? Are you with me?
Yes.
And how is that going to benefit you? Or how is something about your life also influencing me positively?
Okay.
Are you with me? It's not everybody that I can mentor, because not everybody who would predispose themselves to the sort of things I'll be teaching. Some people don't like what is right.
Okay.
Some people like nonsense. And so where they are being taught virtues, values, and other things, they will not avail themselves. Are with me? So when I know my purpose, it influences the sort of people that I draw close to myself, or that I actually also draw closer to. Are with me? So it is either I am learning from you, or that I have something that I am teaching you. So your whole life is about a purpose. And when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. You must know what you have been called to do. And that must define and inform every other relationship that you enter into.
Okay, so Reverend, my last question to you is, so what advice would you give to people or young people who have, so they are not kissing or maybe having sex in a relationship? They've identified somebody that they think that, oh, this person likes me, so we are dating. But the person has really not sat down to think about their purpose. So right now, it's more like they are dating for fun, but really they have marriage as the goal. So it's not that they are doing the bad things, just that they are not doing it purposely, like driven by purpose. What advice do you give to people in such situations? Because you have people who are in relationships, oh, the guy is good to me, I'm also good to him, we don't do any naughty stuff, we come to church together, and then it's our goal that we get married someday. We've really not had any discussions about purpose. Maybe we only hear about that during our marriage counseling. So maybe from now till we finally agree to get married, what advice will you give to such people who are in relationships?
Well, I don't know about people who are not doing anything which is not right, who are also not driven by purpose. Because when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
See, when you enter into a relationship, there are stands for either refreshers or refiners or reflectors or reducers.
Okay.
So it's either you are being refined in that friendship, or you are being refreshed in that friendship, or the person is just a reflection of you, and that is actually a subtraction. Because it's a waste of your time.
Yes.
Then reduction, the reducer, when they come into your life, every positive thing that you are, you will be turning to negative. That is where you begin to pick up bad habits, things you didn't used to do, you start doing, which are negative. And so, if you are around me and you are not helping me to become better, just because you are not kissing or having sex doesn't mean that it is a purposeful relationship. You are reducing me. Because if I spend time with you and the time is vague, it's useless. What are you doing to me? Because if we spend time together, we should be building each other up. We should be making each other's life better. So, why are we together then? When we meet together, what do we talk about? When we meet, what do you talk about? Are you with me? What do we give our time to? Are we studying together? Are we learning together? Is there anything we are watching together and discussing? Are we planning anything? Yeah. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good. So your relationships must be driven by purpose. And first of all, you should discover their purpose. Other than that, they are wasting each other's time. And if they actually have plans of getting married, then I don't know. I don't know what is wrong with them. Because if you have plans of getting, you see, a lot of the times people plan for their weddings and not their marriage. And so they marry and then they say that, hey, we were not compatible, we didn't know. No. Marriage, the context of marriage has its own challenges. And it is different from the context of friendship. And so many books have been written on marriage. And the Bible says a lot about marriage. Go and learn it. So that when those things come up, you know that this is what the Bible has said is real about marriage. Or the books have said is real about marriage. So you don't look at it as it's the devil that is doing it, or that you got married to a devil. You didn't get married to a devil. Maybe you may be the devil. Because you may not have redeemed yourself from certain things that you would have redeemed yourself from if you had read the books. So learning is important.
Thank you. Okay, please, anyone else on my panel have a question?
So Reverend, how has social media played a role in all of this, influenced our relationships and all that?
Okay, so one of the things damages social media has done is that it has hurt people's sexuality.
Yes.
And so when they are looking for partners, they are actually looking for sex toys and things that will satisfy those emotional needs, because they themselves would have become hyper in those areas already. And then when they get into marriage, they realize that the marriage is more than sex. Yes, it's more than body shapes and contours and how somebody is looking. Yeah. You realize that marriage is a serious business. They get there and realize that I married the wrong person. Or needs to buy, the person can't do this, the person is this, or it talks this way, that's this way, and then whatever you used to call beauty vanishes from your eyes. Because you realize that when you get married to someone, you realize that real beauty is not about how the person is looking, but it is in it. And social media, when you look on social media and people, now the things you see on TikTok, weddings and all that, when they are showing, they will show you the dance.
Yeah.
They will show you the hips of the woman.
Yeah.
They will show you, and the cars are driving.
Yeah.
As if those are the things you should look for when you. The character bit is always out.
Yeah. That's true.
And so if this becomes the narrative and the thing that appeals to the young people and the basis for which they choose partners, they are definitely going to have problems. And the devil would have no hand in it, but they will blame you.
Wow. Thank you very much. Please, any last question? Okay. Wow. Thank you very much, Reverend Naughty. And we've come to an end of our discussion today. And we will definitely continue this topic. We definitely need to look at God's will again concerning our relationships, because I've understood that I need to learn. Yes, I've understood that I need to learn, because friendship is different from marriage. Guys, and your purpose is very important. We need to know your purpose before you start dating somebody. Your friendships, all relationships should be purpose driven. So purpose is important. So please don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to repost, to subscribe to our pages, and anticipate, because we have a lot for you.
Yeah.
We have a lot for you. And until next time, it's bye for now.
Bye.